I think it's really important as you're taking the class to realize that all these countries are very, very different. But in my line of work now, one of the real challenges that we're facing as myself, an activist, someone who trains activists in how to use social media and how to really get their voice out, is what happens next. Does all of this really represent democracy in the region? And I think for that, the historical perspective is really important. And does anyone, when you see this stuff, does it inspire hope for democracy? You think so? Is democracy a good thing in the Middle East?
It's not corrupt.
It's not corrupt?
It's easy to be corrupt.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Historically, the term democracy in the Middle East has actually been banned. And it was only in the last really 30, 40 years that the word itself, because the word is obviously Greek, has been permissible to talk about, to teach, because all things Greek for centuries were banned in and around the Middle East. So democracy, for example, with its Greek origins, was technically banned. The term freedom, which is hurriya in Arabic, translates to disorder. Secular, when we talk about having a secular government or a secular democracy or all these, means un-Islamic. So you have all these like trigger words, and here they're on the streets and they're screaming these words out for the first time, really in decades, in centuries, and for some places, for the first time ever. And truly, and it's hard to understate that or overstate it, I should say. This is the first time in history in a lot of these parts of the world where people actually went to the streets and they were, claiming or really trying to own some of the freedoms that they had been that they had missed for so many years. But now we're at this point, this really critical point, where we're looking at what happens next and how does democracy, at this point, how do we do nation building and where does democracy lead to?